So I don't know what the difference is between a private chef or a personal chef, but for me, I work for just one family cooking 5 days a week, and where they go, I go. So during the summer, I'm often at their beach house, and that's where I am today. First day cooking here this year, and it's always a nice switch up, even though I have to drive about an hour each way. Started my day by marinating some short ribs. First, I let those guys soak in some water to remove some of the myoglobin. Then I make my marinade. I marinate these guys in sweet soy marinade using a base of brown sugar with soy sauce, some onions, garlic, and chilies, a little white pepper, coriander, and cardamom. Cardamom is one of my favorite spices for both savory and desserts, and it really comes through nicely on grilled meat. First time I thought of it, I thought it'd be strange, but it really is nice, and my boss loves it. It's my first day cooking here in a while, so I go through the pantry and get rid of anything old and reorganize it a bit. This is another part of my job. And my boss eats tomato soup almost every day, so I got to make sure it's always in the fridge. I generally do this with fresh tomatoes, but didn't like what I saw today at the store, so decided to use some canned ones today and to see how it turns out. I sweat down some onions and garlic and butter and olive oil, seasoned with salt and some chili flakes. Add in some good quality crushed tomatoes with some basil and a pinch of sugar to balance out the acidity. Add in some chicken stock just to thin it out. Making some crispy shallots for my rice by slicing my shallots and covering with neutral oil. Generally, I use a mandolin to help with the nice consistent cuts on this, but I couldn't find mine today. These should take a while. The idea for this is first we're confitting the shallots, and then we're turning up the heat and getting them nice and crispy. Strain them out and season with salt. Take a little bit of that shallot oil and saute some thinly sliced garlic, and just before it turns brown, add in my washed rice. Let that toast in the oil for a bit before covering it with water, using my finger to measure. I bring that up to a boil, add a lid, turn it all the way down to low heat, and let that steam. Now I remove my ribs from the marinade, add my marinade to a pot, heat that up and reduce it a bit to glaze my ribs. Get those grilled off outside until they have some nice caramelization on them. Get them inside, slice them up and glaze them with some of that reduced marinade and into a hot oven since my boss likes them. Very well done. For dinner, I serve up my soup first. They don't like any toppings on this, just pure good old tomato soup. Then they also wanted some street corn, so I make that by just steaming off some corn, brushing on some mayo, coating with cotija cheese, and a bit of tahini. Plate up my ribs, rice, and corn, top generously with some of the crispy shallots and some thinly sliced scallions. As always, tons of food for leftovers for all the other employees.